Hey guys, this is Jason, and this is my review for Spy Kids Armageddon. Yes, they made another Spy Kids film. Woohoo! And it is the fifth Spy Kids film directed by Robert Rodriguez, despite the fact that he decided to make this film a reboot of his original franchise, but I guess he still wanted to be a part of it anyway because he came up with Spy Kids. He decided to direct, edit, compose the music for, and do the writing for this film with both him and his son writing the script. It focuses on a different family this time around. It focuses on the Torres family, where the parents, played by Zachary, Levi, and Gina Rodriguez, are both spies, and they get kidnapped by these video game bad guys. I'll explain more in a minute. And there are two kids, Tony and Patty, get taken to a safe house where they learn how to become spies and save their parents, and defeat this villain known as the King, played by Billy Magnussen, who is the guy from Game Night, who they accidentally set free from his video game where he decides to take over the world with his video game virus that hacks the whole world. Okay, my history with the franchise is an interesting one because I loved the first movie when I was a kid. I thought it was amazing and was one of my favorite movies when I was a little kid. But when I rewatch it as an adult, and it is weird, like very weird. Like it has a very absurd plot where the main villain just wants to make robot kids and try to build this TV show that the kids watch by stealing agents and turning them into these weird creatures for his show. It has a very absurd plot, really bad green screen and CGI, and it has humor that only kids can laugh at. But I still think it's enjoyable for kids. Kids will have a blast with the original film. As for the adults, not so much, because those films are just they're just weird. And the same goes to the second and third film, not the fourth one. That one for me is the worst film in the franchise. It completely panders to children that bad. It has a lot of poop jokes that are not even funny at all. They are just disgusting, and there's nothing special about them. It has really terrible green screen and CGI, very unlikable characters, humor that always falls flat, and time puns that are just so bad. They make Mr. Freeze's freeze puns in Batman and Robin sound like comedy gold. And I'm not exaggerating, like the movie is that bad. It's the worst one in the franchise. Now before I talk about my thoughts on this film, let me just say, I know I'm not a part of the majority that is supposed to enjoy this film. I'm not a part of that demographic. I do realize that this movie is really made for kids, and that's fine, and it should be, because this is more of a franchise that's made for children, not really for adults. I mean, if you want to watch it as an adult, then that's fine, but it's really just made for children and not for adults. Children is just their main demographic. And with this film, I can at least say it's better than the fourth film, but only a little bit, because you can kind of tell that Robert Rodriguez has learned from a little bit of his mistakes from that film, because there aren't any poop jokes and there aren't like terrible puns that would just make this film feel like garbage. Even though people are gonna look at it as a kids movie and are think I'm being too harsh on it because it's really just made for children, and it is, but it doesn't give it an excuse for being a bad movie, because Spy Kids Armageddon is a bad movie. This movie has everything you would see in a Spy Kids film, like a bunch of really bad green screen that does not have one thing about it that's redeemable. Like every scene where the characters are just walking in green screen looks fake, and the CGI is just so bad. I get they're supposed to look like they were in a video game, but most of it just looks fake, and it looks like they just made this video game for the early 2000s. Really bad humor that does not hit you even once. None of it gave me a chuckle. Most of it is just very mean-spirited, and that's another problem I have with this film. This movie has some humor and characters that can be very mean-spirited and very unlikable. Like for one, the younger son, Tony, likes to cheat at everything he does, like playing video games or trading cards, lies to his parents a lot about what he really does, but in reality, he just likes to sneak out of his room without his parents noticing and sneak into his dad's office where he plays video games. And him just lying and cheating at everything he does just makes him a very annoying and obnoxious character. And the same goes to their parents too, which I'm not going to spoil much if you want to see this film and don't want to worry about what I'm saying about the film right now. The parents don't really do anything that are likable either. And no disrespect to Gina Rodriguez or Zachary Levi, they're both very talented actors, but not even their performances could save their characters. And this movie has a very absurd plot, as you would probably expect from a Spy Kids film. Like, this movie is really about a villain that just wants to take over the world with this video game that eventually becomes a computer virus where it takes over like people's bank accounts and security systems that they have to play this whole game so that they can get that fixed. Like, huh? That is such a stupid plot. Like, it makes zero sense. Now, granted, this franchise isn't known for having the best plot synopsis for either of them. Like, the first film was just about two kid spies that are saving their parents from turning into these creatures for a TV show. And the second film is about them going on an island with these monsters that roam around that relate to this device. And the third film is also about a video game where Sylvester Stallone as a toy maker so that he can take over kids' minds so that they can play it more, and it's in 3D. And the fourth film is really just about a bad guy that just wants to control time and take over the world with it. So this franchise isn't really known for, like, plots that are supposed to make sense. I mean, kids would be fine with that. They would think that it works for the film because a lot of kids do play video games, and if it works for you, then that's good, but it didn't work for me at all because it just doesn't make any sense. And it also feels pretty abrupt, like it kind of rushes to introduce the characters and what they do, and then it just cuts to the plot that fast. Like, it kind of expects us to watch the other Spy Kids films to understand what's going on, but that's not a really good idea if that's what they were going for, because this is supposed to be a new and fresh story for new fans, so there's really no point in rushing the whole story for this film. And the main villain of the film, the King, is one of the most one-dimensional villains I have ever seen in a kids movie. He doesn't really do much as a villain, he just lets his video game henchmen and this big robot do all the big work for him while he does his video game stuff while he sits in his VR chair that looks remarkably like the chair from the Bill Bixby Incredible Hulk show. I will say this movie does have a good message that kids can learn from about lying and cheating, and how both of those things can get them into trouble, and how honesty can help kids learn how to learn from their mistakes. Sure, they don't always turn out well when they tell the truth, but it does help them let their lies out so that it doesn't bother them the entire time. Like, that's the one good thing I will at least give this film. That's the one thing it has going for it. Spy Kids Armageddon is another Spy Kids film with an absurd plot, terrible CGI and green screen, unlikable characters, and a very one-dimensional villain. And if I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't really planning on reviewing this film because I wasn't interested in seeing it, but I tried to review as many movies as I can regardless of how movies like this look this crappy. I try to do my best to see at least a few movies that I'm either interested or not interested in, and I try to do all of that regardless, so that's why I'm reviewing this movie. I'm gonna give Spy Kids Armageddon a C-. Oh boy, I'm gonna get a lot of dislikes and hate comments for this video. So guys, if you have seen this film, what did you think about it? Did you think it redeems the Spy Kids franchise, or did you think that this is even worse than Spy Kids 4? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Hit the notification bell so you know what other videos I'm posting. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.